We're back. The link. Good morning. It is Monday, 9:39. Let's try that again. Head into the Zoom room where Speaker Therese Terlaje is standing by. Good morning, Madam Speaker.
Good morning, Chris and Sabrina and Jason. KUAM.
I don't know if your ears were burning a little while ago, but there might have been a couple conversations about you in the legislature on the show this morning. So let's just go ahead and start there.
Yes. Well, as everybody knows, there was a huge error that was made. I think I was the first one to come out and say, we made an error. We made a mistake. And I'm very, I take responsibility for that. I am the speaker. I did not make the error myself, but I take responsibility because when I vote on a bill, I know that I am responsible for what is in there. It is not, we can rely on our staffs, we can rely on, all the central staff and the attachés that we have here, but it's me. I am the senator, I am the voter on that bill. And so I have to take responsibility for what's in there. So obviously, there's a lot of blame to go around, but I don't think we need to spend time on doing that right now. If there is an obvious error, I think, we went to great lengths to make sure that the public gets everything that I have. I told them the error. I told them exactly where it occurred. We got the clerks to put in writing every detail of their process, which is an internal process, not really necessary to discuss that publicly, but we did. We put it in writing. Even better than a public discussion is it is in writing. It is. And, this is their accounting of what happened on this bill, what happened with this particular floor amendment. And so if everyone hasn't heard, we sent this out to the media on Friday. We sent it to all senators. The clerks sent it to all senators on Friday. And what happened is, they do a copy of the bill that's like a journal of it that shows every action that was made, every proposed amendment, whether it passed or failed. They put comments and every proposed amendment is accounted for. So this was an unusual amendment because it neither passed nor failed. It was ruled out of order, and so it had a different type of comment. And that's when the error began, is when they were supposed to clean the bill for voting. It was not cleaned properly, obviously. And from then on, we were using this poison pill, if you will, and all of us were acting on that same bill with the error in it, and all of us failed to see it in time. And I agree with, the former Governor Gutierrez that, this is not a usual thing. It's just very unusual. I don't know if I've seen anything quite like this, although we have made errors in bills. Of course, all of us are human and we've seen errors. We try to correct them before the governor signs it. We try to correct them before, of course, the senators vote on them. And we try in every way. This one is really unusual because even it went through signing and was not noticed. So we've got a big issue on our hands, and that is just, can we move forward? Or do we need to have a public bashing of, clerical staff, us senators? We can do that too. And I tell them, they want to yell at anyone, go ahead and yell at me because, I am the speaker. That's fine. But I don't think we need to bash employees to get where we need to go. If we are going to move in any other way, then we need to do that as we always do in a legislature by motion, by votes. And that's the only way. And so right now, while, people are accusing people of intentional deceit or fraud or conspiracy, I don't know what, these kind of accusations are not helping us to get to a consensus. And we need a consensus. And I think the people of Guam expect that from us, that can we work together? Can we just get a consensus and move forward? And, and then, resolve this issue and then resolve all the other issues that we have before us as well.
Right. Well, yeah, Speaker, I know about errors. So how about you said moving forward. So how does the legislature go forward with correcting this?
Well, of course, it depends on their intent, and it depends on what they can get consensus on. And we have to do it by motion. That's the thing. You do it by motion, you do it by a bill, or you do it by a resolution. That is how the legislature acts. We do not act, by public accusation or public, hanging of our employees. That's not really how we act. We act by a bill, a motion, or a resolution. And those are what I'm I keep trying to get us into session so that we can do those things. Those things that, that's what senators are supposed to do. And so I'm just hoping that we're going to be able to have a quorum in order to get to that. As you know, we can't pass motions without a quorum, and we don't have enough votes that way with 5 people out. The math just doesn't add up. So we need everybody's help to do anything and to move forward.
Have you had the opportunity to talk with any of those 5 senators outside of the cameras of session?
Of course, I've tried to talk with many of them, and and I told them I am putting my face in front of this. I am taking full responsibility. It's not necessarily my sole error. I don't even control the employees in this central division. I have some control over attachés during session. Those 2 people, and all the rest, are not under my jurisdiction. But I am willing to do whatever it takes to make sure everybody gets what they want. They want transparency. I put it in writing. I made this clerks put this in writing so that not just the senators would hear it, but everybody on Guam can know exactly where the error took place and can see it's a clerical error. And unless anyone else has some kind of evidence as to, some intentional, deliberate, fraud, I haven't seen that. And I don't think they've seen it either. And so I just think it's really turning in to look to me like a political opportunity to, just bash on me and bash on everybody. The problem is, I don't know. If anybody thinks I'm not angry about this error, of course I am. I'm frustrated. This is not the standard I think the legislature should hold itself to. And I very much expect that these types of errors will never occur again because we are going to change our processes. We've already got double, triple checks in here, but we're going to, have to increase those. And no senator should ever walk away and say, I'm not responsible for a bill that they voted on, because we put these in front of them and, they need to, if they want to rely on staff, then they rely on staff. Otherwise, it is our ultimate responsibility. And that's all I ask is that let's just get back to our work. Let's get back. If we've got important bills on our agenda that were already there, let's address those. If we can't come to a consensus on this one, otherwise, by all means, if we can come to a consensus, let's move forward. Let's do whatever it is that we can get a consensus on. And, that's the way to work together. And I am open. As you asked, Sabrina, yes, I've talked to many of them. And some of them say, they recognize the attorney-client privilege and that, it's for the benefit of the legislature as an institution that, we have to have our attorney available to us and to give us options. And these are not clear, they are options, and that's why consensus is very important. It's like you're gonna have to go with the option in the end that you can get consensus on. And that's what we're going to have to do. But I agree also with I'm glad you played that clip from the Lieutenant Governor, because he's correct. Right now, they have to send down a process, right? And so there are opportunities in this process to make up for the error, if you will, right? Or of course, and we have lots of opportunity to try to gain that consensus down here. So I don't see that, this is a lost cause. I think, I also agree with the former Governor Gutierrez that, when you want to talk justice, that's the merits, right? And so, but right now we're just on the process, and all we need a quorum. We need people to come to work, to do their work. We need to do it by motion, bill, or resolution. Yeah. That's the way to move forward.
Speaker, can I ask, because you're mentioning the options in front of the body, motions, resolution, and bill, right? Is an option being considered to just let this error lie?
I don't know. I don't know that that's an intentional option. The problem is if we can't get consensus, that may be the result. But I don't think anybody necessarily intends that. I can't speak for them. Yeah, so I don't think so. I don't know. I can't.
So the law was intended to help allow 700 claimants to apply. with the error included now, how many does this open up to, and how much are we talking?
We don't know. We weren't even sure about the 700.
Mm-hmm.
The 700 were the ones they knew about. They're not really necessarily the ones that might have been eligible. So that number was not an exact number. The 10 million is not an exact number as to what we might actually be liable for. And the same thing, these questions were asked at the public hearing. What if we expanded the eligibility? I asked these questions because, of course, everyone knows that's what I wanted to do, expand the eligibility. I didn't like that random cutoff, right? So I asked, if we included that, how many more people would that include? What would that number be? But no one had that type of information available. It's all a guess at this point, I think. And so those are our best guesses.
Mm-hmm. Can a resolution amend a law?
No, it cannot.
Okay, and so then if a bill has to be introduced to correct the error, will the bill have to go through a public hearing?
A bill would
Right,
have to
this, yeah, for the error in the Bill 130.
Our statute requires that all bills have a public hearing before they're heard on the floor. Otherwise, you go into committee of the whole. But a public hearing is required on almost all bills, except for under two circumstances. One is if it is an identical bill to one that already had a public hearing, and two, if it's an emergency affecting the health and welfare of the people of Guam.
And so I guess then someone would have to reintroduce Bill 130 as it was introduced. Right?
That is one option.
Right.
Yes, that's an option. There's several options that are available. Yes, and so as I said, we need a consensus, and we need people down here working on it.
All right.
Is the credibility of the legislative process, do you feel, at stake here?
Not unless you're going to take this written accounting by the clerks and our legislative council as to exactly what happened on the bill, and all the people in the process that missed it, and impugn to them, some fraud. And I haven't seen anything that would lead me to that. So I'm kind of surprised by the accusations that are being made, because it's very clearly, it's a bad error, but it's a clerical error. And it just,
Was this a legislative, this accounting that you sent out via press release?
Yes.
Is that something that you're going to present on the floor?
No, this was presented. This was presented.
Oh, before they went on session?
Yes.
I see.
This was presented when we had that long recess in the afternoon. That was because the clerks were still working on this. And, we need the clerk to help us with our session. And they were still working on this. I wanted to make sure that the senators had this in their hands before they continue to make accusations as to what they don't know the facts. These are the facts as to what happened. These are the facts. And anyway, so what happened? So everybody knows, I said, they did an accounting of everything that transpired on the bill, including failed amendments, including ones that were ruled out of order. And then they were supposed to clean that up and, move forward with the process and the engrossment process before we vote. Clean the bill up, make sure only the past amendments are included. And that's where the error occurred. And unfortunately and amazingly, it's left in, and no one in this entire process, including sponsors of the bill, including each of us senators and our staffs and the legislative council, the governor's council, no one noticed it, the governor herself.
Speaker, let me just ask you though, because you keep going back to it's in writing, it's here, you can read it, these are the facts. I mean, was it really that bad though that it wasn't warranted to have an open and public discussion on it?
Well, the requests have changed, right? So some senators wanted to have public discussion with council. And first of all, there was no motion made, in the morning. I called a recess. I had informed the Republican leadership that I was going to call a recess to allow them and every senator the opportunity to talk with council before we proceeded. And that's how we normally talk with our council, right? We take a recess and we allow any senator who has an issue to talk with counsel and proceed. What I just didn't want to see is that they demand one employee, especially these are the non-elected employees, right? Going to get out there and have to publicly, be bashed for this error when it's so clear what happened. I don't know. I just think if we are really sincere about moving forward, then let's move forward. We don't have to, I'm sure there will be, changes made in the clerk's office, perhaps in our entire process. I'm leaving that to the Committee on Rules. This is within their jurisdiction. But for me, I just feel like if we want to move forward, let's move forward. We know the issue. We know where it happened. We know who was involved. We know that we were also involved. So that's why I say, yell at me if you want, but do we need to bring the staff in and yell at them? Do we really need to do that in order to move forward? I think, unless they have some other kind of evidence, I haven't seen anything. This is the evidence before us, is that they made a clerical error and every single one of us missed it. And so it's bad, but, we're going to have to move forward. And I don't believe in this public bashing of one employee who's not even the elected leaders around here, right? They're not even the elected officials. We are, all the senators, and we are the ones voting. And if, that's really the ultimate responsibility to me. We have to be responsible for what we have done. We have to, own up to that, and regardless of, which of our staffers. I'm not going to throw my staff out there under the bus because, we made an error in my office, and I've made many, I'm not proud of them, but I take responsibility for those errors. I'm not going to throw my staff out there because, I didn't proofread their work. Yes, I proofread. That is part of my job. I am a senator. I am making laws. Every single word counts. And that's the thing, So it's a big error, but we are responsible for those errors. Every word we are responsible for.
Well,
each one of them.
Let's bring on the senator. I know a lot of great things were said during session last week, but I think the winner was
Thank you.
Senator Clint
Thanks,
Rajal.
Speaker.
Thank you, Speaker.